birthday of the Perintah Kawalan Pergerakan Pemulihan (PKPP), and which means that we're going to win this pandemic. Kudos to the frontliners for their great job. Now let's proceed to our main purpose of this video, which is for our social engagement course. We are going to make some changement, which is we are not going to focus on climate change, but we're going to bring to another paradigm, which is focus on the food security, but which the effect of climate change. Each of the group members are been assigned for their duties. I'm going to start with the introduction part, and we'll be following on with Ainan, and then Valian, and will be concluded by Laila Afrina. Not to forget Hana Rahman, which is our editor that will be editing the videos. So climate change, we can see that it wasn't an issue at least 100 years ago, because the population of the world are not as much as today, and the impact of this climate change issue is food security, because each state have their responsibility in maintaining their food security. We don't see food security as an important component for our people. It's gonna be a disaster for the population itself. Now let's proceed to Ainan's part.
Guys, so I hope everyone is actually doing good and is actually coping greatly with the current situation that we are facing right now. Worry not, inshallah, these things will actually pass. But for now, I need everyone to put aside whatever you're doing and watch this video till the end. My first friend Hazim explaining a little bit about environment, and you already know today's topic. So let's go! Right, so before we actually go into the deeper stuff between climate change and Malaysia, I think it is better that people actually know the impacts of climate change on other things. Climate change can actually affect our health, our water, our environment, of course, definitely, and lastly, something that we actually rely on and something that we cannot live without it. So it actually affects our food supply. So I haven't talked about how climate change is actually impacting our food supply, and that's the real issue that we want to focus on. So climate change is actually affecting Malaysia's food supply in terms of rice production and distribution. So we Malaysians eat rice all the time. It's like our staple food. We wake up and then we go for nasi lemak as our breakfast, and then maybe for lunch we will go for nasi campur, and for dinner, I don't know, you might go for nasi biryani. The whole point is we eat rice most of the time. If this issue are not being taken seriously, we might not eat rice anymore in the future. The main issue that we're looking through is how our food security is actually being threatened, and if this not being taken seriously, it actually can lead to food insecurity issues. I've taken a very recent news from this one article from New Straits Times on April 25th, 2020. It talks about how our food security is being threatened, just like what I've mentioned before. It shows how the northern region of Peninsular Malaysia is facing dry spell or droughts that's actually affecting their rice yield. So because of the lack of water resources, the rice plants are actually turning brown and they cannot even survive, and let alone to produce the rice that the farmers actually wanted. The issue here is how we're facing lack of water resources, and states like Kedah are the ones who are facing this issue. And to know that they are the ones who produce the most rice, it's actually impacting them real bad. I think it has already reached the point that you guys think that this issue is actually a serious thing, and you cannot just let it slide just like that, because if you do, we might have to say to our favorite staple food, rice, which I don't think Malaysians can live without. So in order for you to know what you can do in order to improve the issue that we're facing right now, I think you should watch the next part, which will be presented by my friend Valian. So bye guys!
How can we fight climate change? Firstly, we need to use renewable energy. Renewable energy is energy produced from sources that do not deplete or can be replenished within human lifetime, such as solar energy, wind energy, hydropower, and so on. Renewable energy are very sustainable and produce less greenhouse gas emission than fossil fuel energy. Renewable energy account for 13.5% of the world total energy supply and 32% of world electricity. As we know, we depend too much on fossil fuel energy such as coal, oil, and natural gas, which is 80% of the world energy. It is dangerous because it releases a large amount of carbon dioxide and greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. This led to the global warming and worse drought in certain countries that give negative impact to the agriculture sector. Next, we need to eat less meat. Did you guys know that the global livestock industry produces more greenhouse gas emission? There are over 1.5 billion cows on Earth and 65 million gallons of methane released when these cows digest their food. For your information, methane is 35 times more dangerous than carbon dioxide. The United Nations mentioned that 7.1 gigaton of carbon dioxide released by global livestock every year. What if they give 1 billion ton of grain to the livestock as their food? Imagine how many people that can we feed with that amount. That's why the study show when we eat less meat, we can save our food security and reduce climate change. We need to change our diet and replace with vegetables such as potato, tofu and tempeh. Lastly, what can we do is we need to raising awareness of climate change. We need to speak up and tell the people about our situation until they give attention to climate change. Humans always forget about this issue and we need to teach our young generation what is the effect of climate change on food security. We need to give the information to the public or join the campaign such as Global Strike Campaign, a series of international strike and protests to demand action be taken on climate change. There are so many ways to fight climate change and increase our food security. We need to take action from now. Action for future.
Hello, my name is Laila Afrina and thank you Valen for your explanation. Climate change has begun to affect the earth. As for our ecosystem consists of cycle, so everything will be affected. This also includes humans, animals, plants. It has already been affecting the food security, and from now on, it will be more devastating for the future. Creating awareness itself is not enough. We should start implementing in order to solve the problem. Climate change will disrupt clean water and also basic human needs such as food production. This is why it is important to us to take action for this.